Welcome to JHG Woodcraft. I'm Jedi, and in this video, we're going to go over carving out a sword using Vcarve and our CNC. So I'm going to walk you through the process of pulling an image into Inkscape. I'll walk you through pulling an image into Inkscape and how to edit that, trace it, and get it ready for Vcarve. Pull it into Vcarve, make some vector edits, and then ultimately you'll be able to send it out to your CNC. Once you've done that, then we'll go through, show some clips of how this is carved out and our finishing process. So that'll be an exciting thing. We're also going to we've got another video for the Cancer Slayer Shield. And so be sure to check that out at the end of this video. All right, with that, grab a drink. Let's get started. So first thing we have to set is our dimensions, the project. Come on. There we go. All right, single-sided. Maybe I want to do this double-sided. No, no, single-sided. Keep it simple. We're going to do, it's a 6-inch by 30-inch piece of material. It's about 3/4 inch thick. Go off the machine bed, and bottom left is my starting point. Okay, and then I'm going to import an image, a free vector image that I found of a sword. So the first thing I'm going to do is pull the sword into Inkscape so I can prep it for my CNC software, Vcarve. I want to convert this image over to an SVG file. I've found the easiest way to do it is grab the file, pull it into Inkscape, and then you can right-click on it and do a trace. And here I'm just kind of defining which way I'm tracing it, and I'll look at the different ways and pick the one that looks the best. All right, once I have it traced, I'll hide the original image, and then I have my vector image ready to be exported. As long as it looks like what I want it to look like. All right, so there it is with the image. And trying a couple different ways to look at how it will end up going into the saw. So this gives me some options. So that way it gives me real crisp lines. I'll export that, and then that will be what I'll pull into my Vcarve software. Right. And it doesn't hurt to have a backup with the other version there as well. Right, so two different ways to do it. Okay, back in Vcarve, I'm going to pull the image in. Select the image I want to use. And from there, you can see that because of those lines, that is actually a vector image. So each one of those can act, each line can act as a toolpath. So I want to ensure I get it centered, and then I can click and see where the toolpaths go. In this case, I've got kind of 2 toolpaths there is what it looks like, but I want to actually delete one of them. So you can see here where I've got that single toolpath there, and I could edit that, modify it, but I want to ultimately be able to only have one of those 2 toolpaths on the outside. And as you can tell, like, oh, why am I seeing 2 and not 1? Let's follow it along. Yep, everything looks good. These all make sense, right? Individual lines. It's not trying to group them together. Oh, look, there it is right up there. Can you see it right in the center? That's what's happening. The toolpaths are not connected. So I'm going to have to go into node edit mode and delete those or disconnect those ends and then reconnect them. So I'm going to cut the vector, get it kind of drug up to where I want it. right? And then I will reconnect the other two vectors with that one. So what this will give me is two solid lines, one around further around the outside and then one further, or the one on the inside. And for this project, I only need really one of them. But I could use one of them to do a more of a carve, and then I could use the outside one as ultimately my cut. And so I'm just going to do a join vectors here. Just like to get it, kind of have to fight with it to get the right bevel, if you will. Try a couple different ways here. Okay, let's join them up with a smooth line. And if I can join it with a smooth line and then edit it, that should give me what I need. Yeah, well, maybe, yeah, it's getting closer. Okay. I don't quite have what I want on the right there, but I'm getting closer. So you'll notice there in the middle, I'm going to have the same problem, right? So I need to do some edits to that one as well. So even when you bring in a fully complete image, oftentimes you have to make some modifications to get it to do exactly what you want. Because think about each and every line is an opportunity for a cut path for your tools. So I could run a ball end across one of those and carve it. I could run a mill bit across one of them and make either a trench or use it for cutting. So every single line that's your opportunity for that. And in this case, I want to have kind of my outside lines and then my inside lines. So that's what I'm doing here, is fighting with it to get just exactly the way I want it connected. And then I've got to join it up. If you don't have complete vectors and you just have individual lines, it will error on you. So you really you need to have end to end. Of course, it's going to loop on me, right? So what I need to do is do a connect these two, and then on the other one, I'll do a close, and then I'll do a join on the other one. Or a join and then a close, rather. There we go. Yep, now I got it. Join and a close. All right, so now looks like I've got all of my lines. Look good. Let's save it. And then from there, I can go add in cut paths and tell it to go, and then we'll send it over to the CNC to cut. All right, so rather than going through the entire CNC process, I'm just grabbing a couple clips here, show you what this looks like finished. I did make some more changes to my image before I finished. I had a couple of, well, I essentially went through one rendition, went back through, made some more changes, and this is where I ended up. So I have a second channel that is literally just watching the CNC cut. I find it calming at times. I also use it just for my monitoring. But I'll put the link in the description for that. So if anybody's interested in subscribing and just literally whenever the CNC is running, you'll be able to see what it's doing, full audio, and just get a chance to watch it. If that's not your thing, no worries. I'll have other videos that have nothing to do with sitting and watching the CNC. But for now, you can see how this is carving it out. I did do one side, centered it, so then I'll flip it to the other side and continue to carve essentially the same thing on both sides. Once it's carved out, I bring it over to this awesome new tool that I just found. It's called a flap sander. It's amazing. It's just literally this sanding wheel that I put on my drill press, and allows me to do some real intricate sanding, get in those corners. and run through sanding process really, really fast. So once I get that all smoothed out, make it safe for the kiddos, then I'll paint the edges and we'll have a sword to go along with our Cancer Slayer shield. Hopefully that was useful to you, learning a few additional tricks in Vcarve and Inkscape, pulling an image in, editing it, or tracing it rather, and then the vector changes within Vcarve. That can always be, if you're new to it, can be a little bit of a challenge, but once you get used to it, not too big of a deal. As well as my super cold sander, right? So yeah, it's new. So I hadn't used a flat sander before. I'm super thrilled with it. Love it. So with that, we made this sword. And please check out our other video where we make this shield. And now I'm ready to go help slay cancer. And if you'd like to help slay cancer as well, we have some keychains that we'll be putting out on the website. See it here. We'll put the links in the description. All profits go to my nephew who is fighting cancer, so to his family directly. You can buy a keychain and help out that way, or you can donate to them directly. Either one's appreciated very much. Hopefully this video has been informative to you. And with that, it's my turn to go have a drink. Have a great day.